Feathers were ruffled. It was a barrage of gunfire. Pride came before the fall. Obviously, they'd taken offense. The hunter seemed as if they couldn't reload fast enough. There was someone baying for their blood. Some things don't turn out how they're planned.
Rest in peace, asshole.
Small and rivalries rained harder. Words will only take you so far. One of them got called out. The threats bullet they banked was getting paid back with interest.
So I ain't the one to test.
The fight got personal. They were all barred. They'd become slow on the draw. There was no love lost. They'd been all talk. They weren't well liked. It was a barrage of gunfire. It was just hot air. Now it was all about revenge. Seemed as if they couldn't reload fast enough. They'd made it a personal beef.
Is that what you
Feathers were ruffled. Maybe they just lost their edge. Obviously, they'd taken offense. Talking a good fight wasn't harder. There was someone baying for their blood.
Should've stayed out of my way.
Small rivalries they banked was getting paid back with interest.
So I ain't the one to test.
One of them got called out.
Talk shit now,
They'd become
asshole.
slow on the fight draw. Got personal. Pride came before the fall. There was no love lost. It was a barrage of gunfire.
Dig a hole.
They weren't well liked. The hunter became the hunted. Now it was all about revenge. Some things don't turn out how they're planned. They'd made it a personal beef. Words seemed as if they couldn't reload fast enough. Feathers were ruffled. The threats came to nothing. Obviously, they'd taken offense. They were all bark and no bite.
You're sad, man.
And the bullets rained harder. Baying for their blood. They'd been all talk. Small rivalries erupted. It was just hot air. Each bullet they'd banked was getting paid back with interest. One of them got called out. Maybe they just lost their edge. The fight got personal. Talking a good fight wasn't enough.
Is that what you want?
There was no love lost. Pride had become slow on the draw. They weren't well liked. The hunter became the hunted.
Should've stayed out.
Now it was all about a barrage of gunfire. Some things don't turn out how they're planned. They'd made it a personal beef. Words will only take you so far. Seemed as if they couldn't reload fast enough. The threats came to nothing. Obviously, they'd taken offense. And the bullets rained harder. There was someone baying for their blood. Small rivalries erupted. Each bullet they banked was getting paid back with interest. One of them got called out. They were all bark and no bite. They'd become slow on the draw. The fight got personal. They'd been all talk. There was no love lost. It was just hot air. It was a barrage of gunfire. They weren't well liked. Maybe they just lost their edge. Seemed as if they couldn't reload fast enough. Now it was all about revenge. Talking a good fight wasn't enough.
So I ain't the one to tell.
They'd made it a personal beef. Pride came before and the bullets rained harder. Feathers were ruffled. The hunter became the hunted.
Who else wants some?
Obviously, they'd taken
Each
offense.
bullet they banked was getting paid back with interest.
Some things don't turn out how they're planned. There was someone baying for their blood. They'd become slow on the draw. Small rivalries erupted. Words will only take you so far. It was a barrage of gunfire. One of them got called out. The threats came to nothing. The fight got personal.
Seemed as if they couldn't reload fast.
They were all bark and no bite.
He's in a better place.
There was no love lost. They'd been all talk. They weren't well liked, and the bullets rained harder. It was just hot air. Now it was all about revenge. Maybe they just lost their edge.
Banked was getting paid back with interest.
They'd made it a personal beef. Talking a good fight wasn't enough. Feathers were ruffled. Pride came before the fall. Obviously, they'd taken offense. They'd become slow on the draw. There was someone baying for their blood. It was a barrage of gunfire. Small rivalries erupted. The hunter became the hunted. One of them got
Seemed
called
as if
out.
they couldn't reload fast enough.
Some things don't turn out how they're planned.
Rest in peace, dickhead.
The fight got personal. Words will only take you so far. There was no love lost. The threats came to nothing, and the bullets rained harder. They weren't well liked. They were all bark and no bite.
Rest in peace.
Now it was all about revenge. They'd been all talk.
Each bullet they'd banked was getting paid back with interest.
They'd made it a personal beef. It was just hot air. Feathers were ruffled. Maybe they just lost
become
their
slow
edge
on
the draw. Obviously, they'd taken offense. Talking a good fight wasn't enough. It was a barrage of
someone
gunfire. Baying for their blood.
Is that what you wanted?
Small rivalries
Seemed as if they
erupted.
couldn't reload fast enough.
Pride came before the fall. One of them got called out. The hunter became the hunted.
Should've stayed out of my way.
The fight got
And the
personal.
bullets rained harder.
Some things don't turn out how they're planned. There was no love lost. Words will only take you so
Each
far.
bullet they'd banked was getting paid
They
back
weren't
with
well
interest.
liked. The threats came to nothing.